We'll have a look at today is cases where people have tight hamstrings and they're constantly stretching them, but they don't seem to see any change in the ability of the hamstrings to lengthen. There's no reduction in the tension. Usually measured when, if it's not actually a sensation in the hamstrings itself, it's where I can't touch my toes. So the bend over, turn, touch your toes, you can't touch your toes, you can't get your hands on the ground. And this is an assessment I use in the clinic all the time, but with the advantage of actually being able to look at it from the side, I can then address whether you're getting good movement at your hips, which would suggest that the hamstrings are actually lengthening quite well, so aren't a problem, versus where, and this happens quite a lot, there isn't as much flexion through the spine as we would like to see. Now, where the spine's not flexing that well, really what we're looking at that point in time isn't a hamstring issue, it's more of a problem with usually the diaphragm and the intercostals. And when we address this, we see a big change in the ability to actually touch the ground, touch your toes. And I was doing this with a golfer just recently, and the following day I actually got a text off him complaining that it had taken him 9 holes to adjust to his new flexible swing. That's how powerful it can be in terms of improving that kind of mobility. But if the spinal movement's fine, so we're seeing good global flexion through the spine, but the hips are maybe a bit stiff and there is a lot of tension in the hamstrings, then what is it we're looking at then? Well, we would then want to start testing how good can the hamstrings actually do what is their primary job through gait, and that is to transmit force, both absorbing the ground forces as you hit the ground and propelling you forward from the power that you develop at your hips. So we test that, and if we start to see a deficit there, then that's what we go after. That's what we start to delve into in terms of retraining the hamstrings and lower leg to do their job again properly, to actually transmit forces from the hip again, so that you can, as I say, transmit the forces down into the ground to propel you forward, absorb the forces back up the way. When we go through that process and retrain that fully, starting off very easy and getting back up off the floor to higher load situations, invariably we find that the hamstring tension disappears completely. People aren't plagued with tight hamstrings. There isn't a requirement for stretching. That's something that I recommend most of the time anyway. So if you've been actually struggling with your hamstring flexibility, or at least when you try to touch your toes, you're struggling there, get somebody to have a look at it and see whether you actually, your spine bends very much, and if it doesn't, then that might be more where your problem is versus actually what's going on in your hamstrings themselves. But sometimes it can actually be just that they don't do their job well in terms of this force transmission, and it might be one leg versus the other. It's not necessarily always both. But hopefully that'll give you a little insight as to why stretching sometimes doesn't really work as a means of actually improving range of movement. If you found it useful, just click like below and share it with your friends, and I'll see you again soon.